right past that point.
Yeah, baby! Got him!
Good shot, buddy.
Hey, welcome back to the Sovereign Sportsman. I'm Eric Richey.
And I'm Forrest Parker. This week is a super special week to us. We're going to South Georgia, and we're going to be hog hunting with dogs, barehanded style, baby, doing what I grew up doing. With my lifelong friends, you know, guys I grew up hunting with, and some of them are actually family. We got a couple special guests, Ryan Lartigue, Chris McMahon, Navy Special Ops guys, actually EOD guys, and they're just solid friends and great American heroes, and I couldn't be more excited, Eric, about doing, you know, taking you guys and the whole team back to what I grew up doing and bringing some super special guys like these guys.
Barehanded, knives only, running through these swamps in South Georgia, waist-high swamp water, just running through briars and everything else. I've just heard it's going to be just off the chain, and I couldn't be more excited. And you know what, to me it's really special to be doing it with these guys, these Navy EOD buddies of your guys's, and I'm just looking forward to getting to know them a little better and sitting down and chatting with them and hearing more about their story. And man, there's not enough opportunity to showcase what our American soldiers and our heroes overseas are doing, and these guys are at the top of their game.
It's a great one, so let's go to it.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
So being able to go back to my home turf and do something that I grew up doing, big game hunting with hounds, is all I knew. Bear hunting at early ages, I mean, I killed my first bear with dogs, I think when I was 5 or 6. You know, and I can't tell you how many I killed, you know, just accidentally squirrel hunting and riding around with my dad and my uncles, you know. And my dad and my uncle had a blind horse, and growing up they used to stick me on this blind horse and it would follow the rest of the horses, and that's the way that they babysitted me. My mom didn't always agree with it, but that's how it worked out. Being able to go back, you know, to the South and hog hunt, which, you know, I grew up doing a lot of too, with, you know, some lifelong friends and family and some buddies, you know, all the Spivey Brothers and all our good friends from South Georgia, you know, Robbie, Scotty, and all those guys. It's just really like a homecoming for me. And to be able to take, you know, Eric, I mean, and the whole team down there was real special.
Here with a couple Navy EOD specialists, Chris McMahon and Ryan Lartigue. And man, I'm excited about coming out here now. We're a little bit of a disadvantage this week, right, Ryan? You and I, because you know, I'm not used to this hog stuff at all. This first time for you, so we're just kind of what should we expect? You've done this your whole life. Tell us a little bit about
chaos. That's what you can expect.
Having, you know, the Navy guys, Ryan and Chris there, you know, Chris has been a lifelong friend of the Spivey Brothers, and thus, you know, has been my friend for several years now, and just super good dudes, you know. And Ryan got to come along and got to meet him for the first time, and I mean, it was just a great deal. I mean, for me, the hunting was really secondary. It was just a great time to really just hang out with some buddies that I don't get a chance to hang out with as much as I used to.
Moving, baby, moving.
Forrest and I come from different parts of the country, you know, different upbringings and stuff, both kind of meager upbringings, but two different parts of the country and a lot of different experiences. And one of the great things about our partnership is that I get to introduce Forrest to a lot of interesting stuff, and he gets to introduce me to a lot of stuff. Well, this week he's up. We had gone down into South Georgia to meet up with a bunch of good buddies of Forrest that he grew up with that run a really great hog operation down in South Georgia. These hogs that we're being brought in to hunt, there's a lot of plantations, a lot of big farms in South Georgia that these native hogs have gotten off into these areas and bred and just to kind of overrun the places. But you know, as a farmer and a ranch, growing up on a farm and ranch up in Montana, I mean, crops and farmland are these people's livelihood, and these hogs have done such damage and continue to do such enormous damage to the way of life of these farmers and these plantation owners in Georgia that to say they're a nuisance would be an incredible understatement.
We walk through the woods. It's what we call a South Georgia hog nest. And these hogs, they cut these palmettos up and they come pile them up just like a bird does, make a nest. And it kind of shelters them from wind and stuff, and they pile them up. And you can see here this big hog's been laying. It's big, and look, this thing, it's a foot deep. They ain't dumb, like a lot of people think.
The hog population in South Georgia is insane. I mean, they're a huge problem. And you know, a lot of people don't understand, you know, dog hunting. Either that they've never done it, so they just don't know what it's like. Or, you know, some people just, you know, typically just say, well, it's not something I like or agree with or whatever. But I can 100% tell you that, you know, we're as ethical hunters and as moral hunters as there are in the world. And we hog hunt with dogs because it is the most effective way to go catch hogs. I mean, you know, you can trap hogs, you can do all these other things. You'll wear your lifetime out sitting in tree stands thinking you're going to do anything for the hog population on a farm that's suffering some serious crop damage. And so the best way to go in there, and aside from trapping in large numbers, is going with dogs and catching these hogs. And so that's what we do.
This episode of the Sovereign Sportsman is brought to you by First Light Apparel, hunting apparel for the avid hunter. By Fatal Attraction Deer Feed, supplementation producing strong, healthy animals and amazing antler growth. By Cabela's Tags, draw the tag of a lifetime with Cabela's Tags. And by Weatherby Firearms, proud producers of the Vanguard and Mark V rifles, semi-auto shotguns and threat response firearms. Pelican Products is a global manufacturer of advanced lighting systems, ruggedized cases, and shipping containers. Pelican's partnership with the Sovereign Sportsman has been invaluable, given the importance of safely transporting the full extent of gear and equipment necessary for us to shoot and produce the show each week. Pelican continues to set the bar regarding product quality and the diversity and effectiveness of their products and services. In an industry where bagging the big one is never a guarantee, Pelican Products can always be relied on to deliver every time.
A lot of these landowners, they kind of know, you know, roughly where, you know, most of the hogs have been doing most of the damage and things. You know, a hog is like a rabbit. You know, I tell the people all the time, anywhere a rabbit will live, a hog will live. And if it's too thick for a rabbit, then that's the perfect place for a hog.
That's a military boy.
First crack out this morning, out here in South Georgia doing some hog hunting for the first time, at least a couple of us are. Just got into a hog. Chris traveled him through hell and back over here to the briars.
I had good backup though, they didn't miss a lick. It was right on my heels. I couldn't get to that briar no faster.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was about as fast paced as it gets, I think.
You know, they come out dragging this big hog and people are screaming and, you know, the hog's squealing, the dogs are raising Cain. And I mean, it was just a riot. And you know, and that was kind of breaking the ice. And from then on out, I mean, these guys, they had blood in their eyes. They were seeing red from then on out.
Hey, back.
Come here. Yeah.
We go, Ryan?
What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, buddy.
I think Eric and these guys were more, you know, determined to go catch hogs than the dogs were.
A dead sprint through the woods, through the brush, man. That's phenomenal, man.
Yeah,
all day. All day. Not gonna bulldoze to the next one.
That's right.
Yeah, all day. You grab one.
Blood and guts. Let's go on to the next one. It's off the chain. Every time you hear a squeal, your blood goes up. Blood pressure gets up 100 points, and you're off through the bushes. So we're gonna keep going. Come on. You can imagine yourself, you know, walking through the forest, kind of like Elmer Fudd does, you know, tracking down that rabbit. And when those dogs start baying, you're on a full sprint, as fast as you can go to as far away as those dogs are. And sometimes they're 200 yards, sometimes they're a quarter mile away. Sometimes you're running through knee-high water. Sometimes you're running through boot-top black mud. And I mean, it's real swamp hunting. You get there, dogs are going crazy, these hogs are going nuts, and you're jumping in there with who's ever there with you to take care of these hogs.
Sometimes, you know, when you find a hog, you'll find 20. So after that first one, we kind of started hitting them in spurts, and about every 15, 20 minutes, we were finding a gang of hogs, and man, it was just on. We would go from we'd just get cooled down and catch your breath again, and all of a sudden you'd hear a dog, and you know, it's so thick down there, usually when you hear a dog, it's pretty much game on.
Breaking some records and breaking a freaking sweat for sure.
We were running and man, blowing and going, and we ended up catching, I think, 3 or 4 that first morning pretty quick, and a couple of them are real nice hogs, and one great big sow hog, and it's just a big monster. So
Get it, Kelly!
we found a thicket and we went in, and you know, it took us about probably 20 minutes, and I heard the first dog open, and from then it was heck on. And man, the dogs had got in the thicket and they'd found a big old hog that was bedded down, and they run in there and caught it, and it was an absolute war. And man, to see these guys that had never done this kind of look around, like first kind of like, well, what do we do? And then all of a sudden everybody takes off running like mad, like a pack of hyenas.
When the game gets turned on, it's full on. I mean, it's like a war zone in the swamps. It was the most fun I've had in, I can't even tell you how long. Jumping in there, grabbing hogs, and these are 250, 300 pound hogs with big tusks that'll kill you.
I kind of stayed back, you know, and then stayed behind the cameras, and I just kind of wanted to take it all in and let these guys go at it. And you know, I didn't want to go in there and grab a hog and do it all for them.
Good hog?
It's awesome, man. It was just insane. So, I mean, you look at spending 2 days like that, 2 days of going from 0 to 60 about every 15, 20 minutes, because it was that intense. I mean, it was full on.
Whole band of guys just knocked down a big, pretty rusty hog. Man, what a rush, man. That was some kind of fun, wasn't it, man?
That's a good first pick.
I just can't tell you how exciting it was. You know, it's thanks Forrest for the experience and the guys that were kind of running the whole operation down there.
Well, this is what they call a dog lead we tie dogs up with. This is a handheld marine radio. I ride a 4-wheeler 90% of the time. They call me on the radio and say they have a hog caught with dog 3 or dog 4's Garmin tracking system. I'll look, find dog 3, and we'll communicate back and forth with the marine handheld radios. Feed dogs year round is what we live for.
It was just a great experience, and I was really hoping we'd get to catch a monster for these guys to really show them, you know, how to get down and dirty with it, and they did it, and all the guys came through, and it was just an awesome day.
Make you a hat, Kelly.
That was a good time.
We met some really good friends, the guys that own the land, and so it was just a good time, and you know, we'll be back down there with those same guys, and it was a good day nonetheless.
Leapers has been in the business of supplying shooting, hunting, and outdoor gear since 1991, while setting uncompromised standards for their business with a focus on making the best-in-class products for hunting, shooting, and outdoor enthusiasts. From tactical weapons, accessories, and gun cases to unbelievable multicolor illuminated rifle scopes and mounting systems, Leapers produces the absolute highest quality made-in-the-USA products to the industry at a price point for any budget. We feel honored that Leapers has selected Sovereign Sportsman as their first TV partner to showcase these unbelievable products to the public. Scope them out. You'll be glad you did. As a longtime buddy of the Sovereign Sportsman team, Travis Kenton is the genius behind Kenton Outdoors, a 100% fair chase hunting operation encompassing 3,000 plus trophy managed hunting acres in west central Ohio. Year after year, Sovereign Sportsman makes the trip to Ohio to hang out with Travis and his wife Stacy and hunt for some of the most impressive monster whitetail available anywhere in the United States. Annually, Kenton Outdoors produces one of the highest success rates of any trophy whitetail outfitter to the select few lucky enough to experience all that Kenton Outdoors has to offer.
Great vacations have exciting rides, amazing attractions, and brave action heroes. The difference is, ours are real. Experience legendary Cherokee, where the adventure is real.
So the experience down there is multiple fold, right? I mean, it's doing a type of hunting I've never done before. But I tell you, you know, for me, I was really interested to taking some time and sit down and talking with Chris and Ryan on a kind of a more personal level, and just kind of, I don't want to say I wanted to get in their heads, because I know these guys have been through some stuff. I don't know that I'd want to get in their heads, but I did want to learn more about them, and you know, I wanted to learn more about what they do and share that with the viewers of our show, because it's just so important every opportunity that Forrest and I get to, you know, to do that, to showcase the real American heroes that we have.
I was in the military. I went through Navy EOD school, basically. Went through dive school, the actual explosive ordnance disposal school, and then from there went through jump school and things of that nature, and various shooting schools and driving schools.
When I went to the military back in '98, I started out pretty much being an MA or Master at Arms or MP, if you will. Did that for a little while, and I started to further my career and went into EOD. I've been doing EOD now for the past 7 years.
Well, when I was in, you know, I deployed, did a couple of deployments to Iraq and stuff like that. And
my career's led me over to Iraq and several other places in the Middle East. Doing what I do over there. It's been a great time. It's a phenomenal career to be in. Great people, just like what's out here in my community. That's really why I did it, is the people.
You know, I had some time on this trip to spend quite a bit of time, in fact, with Chris and Ryan individually and together, and you know, different parts. I was hunting with one a couple times, hunting with the others a couple times, and you know, when you get these guys to open up a little bit about what they do on a daily basis in Afghanistan and Iraq, and especially these guys. I mean, for those of you who don't know what EOD specialists do, these are the guys that put on the big blast suits and go up to recognized explosives, IEDs, improvised explosives, and disarm them. I mean, these guys are doing stuff that kill so many of our soldiers and heroes every day. And these guys willingly are putting that suit on every day and going out there and doing probably, I think, the most dangerous job I've ever heard of. I don't know that there's anything more dangerous than that. And to hear these guys tell their stories and to talk about some of the things that they see on a regular basis, it was just very humbling. I feel privileged that Forrest and I get to do something that we really enjoy. We've got the freedom and the privilege to explore that as Americans and in this country. And the only reason we have that privilege is because of guys like Chris and Ryan. So, you know, Chris and Ryan, you know, guys, love you guys, love what you do. Can't say enough about you guys as people and soldiers and what it means to us to have you out there fighting the fight for us. And it's just hats off to you guys, really. The Sovereign Sportsman is proud to announce our partnership with Comfort and Joy Kennels in Gaffney, South Carolina. Terry Stick Queen and his wife Patty have been involved with breeding and training champion Labradors for more than 20 years. Comfort and Joy have become Sovereign Sportsman's go-to provider of hunting dogs and dog training for the show. The Queens even surprised us this year with our own dogs, Moose and Spartacus, that Stick is training for use on the show later this year. We can't wait to see these pups in action. Thank you, Stick and Patty, for your unwavering dedication to the sport, to the loving way in which you care for and train every dog, and to your partnership and support of the Sovereign Sportsman. Covering more than 1.5 million beautiful acres, the Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Montana provides for some of the most incredible hunting and fishing opportunities on the planet. And even though the culture there has survived 150 years of intensive efforts to eradicate it, it is once again flourishing and undergoing a rebirth. The Sovereign Sportsman team is fully dedicated to assisting the Blackfeet in efforts to expose these initiatives and programs to the entire world. Our respect and love for the people, their culture, and their innovative approach to reclaiming their sovereignty will forever tie us together.
Hey everybody. Hey, Forrest and I wanted to take a couple minutes and first of all thank you guys for hanging with us this season and making the show as incredible as it's been for us this year. Also, we wanted to encourage you guys to go out and hit our website, www.sovereignsportsman.com. Also hit our Facebook page at Facebook/Sovereign Sportsman. And man, we're looking for your feedback. Tell us what you like about the show, tell us what you don't like. Only through that kind of feedback are we going to make the kind of show that you guys are going to keep wanting to watch. So stay tuned with us, hang in there. Thanks for your viewership this year, and we'll see you guys online.
As a farm and ranch kid from south central Montana, I didn't know quite what to expect when we went into Georgia, other than to know that these farmers, one of the big reasons why they were hunting the hogs was obviously because of all the damage that they were doing. But I had no idea until we got there just how much damage these hogs could do to a peanut field or to a farm field that is really the basis for these farmers, you know, way of life. The amount of damage that a single hog can do to a crop field is enormous. A small herd of those or pocket of those hogs can wipe out an entire farm field in a matter of a week. I just have got a great respect for that. I mean, we've got prairie dog problems up in Montana, and these are like 300-pound prairie dogs. So, and the damage they do is exponential to about the size of the prairie dog as well. So, you got prairie dog digging holes, and you got 100 of them taking out an acre of land. You get 100 hogs, and you got hundreds of acres that hogs can absolutely destroy in a matter of a short period of time.
We've got a little over 2,000 acres here, and we've had this place for about 10 years. And 2 years ago we started having a few hogs move in, and this last year it's just been a mess. We probably killed 20 or 30 in the first week or so of deer season, and they're just coming in, and you can see they're destroying our plots. We can't hardly get any of our food in. By the time it grows, they've already eaten everything up or rooted everything out. And they're just wearing us out.
You know, these guys have open arms to us, and they have for years, to bring us in after deer season, and especially between deer and turkey season, to get in there and help them with some of these problems, because they invest a lot of money and a lot of time, not just into crops and farming, which is their livelihood, but you know, some of these guys manage pieces of property for wildlife.
You know, using dogs is one of the most effective ways to get these things out of these thickets and stuff, because unless it's impossible to wade into these thickets and just shoot a hog.
That's exactly right. When we come in and have 10 hogs come in and shoot one time and they're gone. With a dog come in, if you find 10 pigs, you're able to go in there and potentially get 5 to 10 all at one time. So there's no way to shoot them out.
So, you know, if you don't understand exactly, you know, why people hog hunt, especially with dogs, then look at this. I mean, aside from just crop damage and monetary type losses that people suffer, I mean, some of these guys are putting tons and tons of money and hard work into pieces of property just for the benefit of wildlife. And so you got these hogs, which are non-native species, and they're just, you know, basically eating up people's money, and they're actually destroying habitat and taking food and values from the native wildlife, which, you know, these guys are really investing in protecting turkeys, deer, and all the small game and the bird habitat down there. So, you know, when I go, I got a big sense of pride, you know, to be there doing what we're doing, just because it's such a special thing, and to be there to be having so much fun and doing a job too. You know, anytime you can do what you love for a living, it's great. So, you know, it's always good to be down there, you know, helping these guys out and just having a heck of a time too. So, you know, I couldn't think of a better sport to have socially and excitement level. And I think Chris even compares it to war sometimes, and it is a ride. I mean, but you know, it's a ton of fun too.
I had no expectation going into that hunt whatsoever. I'd never hunted with dogs at all. You know, the way that these families care for these dogs and really protect these dogs, because I mean, these big hogs, they do a lot of damage. I mean, they got 3-4 inch tusks that'll gut a dog in a second. These guys outfit their dogs with Kevlar vests and are just very, very passionate about the security of their animals that they use to really quickly and effectively capture these hogs. You know, it was a great learning experience for me all in all. Could not have had more fun. Talk about if you're looking for a type of hunting where your blood pressure goes from 0 to 9,000 in about 2 seconds, there is nothing like South Georgia hog hunting to do that. It was just a roller coaster ride. Every hour, every couple minutes throughout the day, you're catching your breath, you're puking over a log from running through the swamp so far, and you finally get your breath back and you're off onto another one. You know, these hogs, with some of the biggest ones we got, were 250, 300 pounds or more. Just crazy, crazy types of hunting. In fact, we're going back. I think we're going back to another one here in a month or two with another group of good friends of Forrest and I's. Just gonna have at it again.
I mean, it's one of the most exciting things you could ever do.
Man, I'm gonna do something I haven't done very much. I mean, we spent a lot of time giving each other a hard time and having a lot of fun on the show. But I want to thank you for that Georgia hunt.
I wish we'd have caught some more hogs, but hey, you know, like I said, you know, the biggest thing about hunting that kind of style is just being able to hang out and socialize and have a good time, and we did that. And so
I thought it was great too, you know, with Robbie and Scotty and those guys, you know, just salt of the earth human beings. I mean, some of the best guys, you know, that we've run into, and really having that opportunity with Ryan and Chris to sit down and talk to them. You know, Chris and Ryan, you know, to you guys especially, just want to thank you again for all that you guys do, and for hanging out with Forrest and I on that hunt. I hope we get to do that a whole bunch more, and you guys be safe where you're at, and get back to us so we can meet you back in the swamps pretty soon.
Yeah, and you know, every show that the Sovereign Sportsman team does, you know, we try to really emphasize a good story, and you know, a B-side of the record, like we like to call it. And I feel like that's why we belong in this, you know, in this business, is to really, you know, not just go kill big stuff, but to showcase some great things that people are doing throughout the country and throughout the world, and so that's why we're in it. So see what we got for you next week, and we'll see you then, right?
Yeah, stay tuned.